call the meeting to order. If you please join me for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. It's really nice to see a full room. Do we have any need for translation needs tonight? Okay, seeing none, we'll go on to the approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I second it.
Got a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carries. We don't have student representatives with us tonight, so we'll forego that. We'll go on to board member discussion. Aaron's not here tonight. Do we have any other board member discussion for tonight? Okay. We'll go on to required approvals.
I motion to approve required approvals.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So carries. Okay, the next thing on the agenda already is Kootenai Springs Elementary School Report.
But this is awesome. So did we have everyone come up? So we are, thank you so much for inviting us to come and talk about the district's strategic goals and what that looks like at Scootney. We've made some very aggressive moves and instructional changes to support student learning, and I'm super excited that we have so many of our staff here to explain those instructional moves and strategies and to share what it looks like with boots on the ground. And we're also really excited that we have so many support members here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with early excellence.
So this year we've changed a lot of things at Scootney, especially our ELA and reading program. And this started with some conversations at the end of last year. We started talking about foundational reading skills and what that looks like in our primary grades, kindergarten through second grade. With a goal that we would increase the number of third graders that were reading at grade level. So I have a first grade teacher and a second grade teacher here that are going to talk a little more specifically about what those changes look like this year in the classroom.
Yes, I'm Eden Ochoa. I'm a first grade teacher. So this big change that we made was in our really great reading curriculum. So we used to have our paras teach the lesson in small groups. We've now changed to have the classroom teacher teach it whole group in the classroom. I think the best part about that is that the classroom teacher gets to really control the pace of the lessons. And so the goal is that by the end of the school year, every K2 student will be able to get every single lesson in the curriculum before they move on to the next grade level. So when we talked about this, we talked about how there's 5 components of foundational reading. Those components are fluency, comprehension, vocab, phonics, and phonemic awareness. And so we talked about if the teacher can give this lesson, then we can use the paras in our classroom to put this to practice. And so what we came up with was the paras come into our classrooms and we run 4 stations. And the first station is fluency. So a para runs this station and all students are exposed to lots of different texts and they practice reading this fluently with accuracy. And then they get to another station and they get comprehension and vocabulary practice. And so weekly we're building on student vocabulary, but we're also practicing answering questions from a text and identifying story elements. And then they get another station that we call word work. And in that station, they get to practice their phonics, where they're building words. We get to build words with Play-Doh and sand and sometimes shaving cream, but we've also built, have done some really good work building word ladders and word sorts. I think most students would argue that that's their favorite station. It's pretty fun. And then the fourth station is dictation, and students get to practice their phonemic awareness and their phonics. So they're listening to words that teachers give them, and they're building those words. And then they're using those words to build sentences and really just practicing their writing skills too. So within those 4 stations, all students are getting to practice all 5 components of reading. And so it's very intentional work, and all students are getting it every single day. And so our goal, I guess the outcome, is we are really hoping that we can just increase the amount of students that are reading at grade level by the time they get to 3rd grade. So.
Before we move on, could I just share, I think, a connection between what they're sharing and what's the role of the board? Like, what role did you have in this? So when I think about PLCs and all the work that Eden just described and getting together in teams to talk about what we're creating for students and what these stations are designed to do, setting aside time as a district to say we're going to give our teachers planning time during PLCs. So when people ask you, why are we taking every Monday off? What are they doing? This is what they're doing. When you think about, when you go through these approval processes and you see $100,000 for a particular curriculum, it's because experts like these took that curriculum and said, this is what our kids need, and we need you to approve it. And then when you feel pressure about, well, we're right-sizing our schools and it means some movement in staffing, you can also see the impact that it has, because going from teams of 4 down to teams of 3, it's a challenge for these guys. It's going to be difficult. And then for some teachers, it's going to be, well, this year I taught 3rd grade, and next year I taught 4th, and next year I teach 4th grade. So some of those pressures and things you feel, I want you to understand the decisions that you're having to make and what they're wrestling with. But both sides understanding our goal is to get more kids fluent and to have the skills so they can be successful when they move on.
So I'm Amy. I'm actually sharing on something different, but I did want to say that Eden talked about all those stations really well, and I've been out of 2nd grade for a couple years. I was in preschool, but coming back, when I was in 2nd grade prior, we did not have all of our own kids. We did walk to read, so they were divided up into the grade level. So it's been really nice coming back and having my homeroom kids with me and being able to see their growth inside the classroom. But I didn't have much to add to Eden, but I have enjoyed the change with phonics. I was asked to share about team lesson planning, and one of the first things Denise asked me to share was the change coming back into 2nd grade. So like I said, the last 2 years I've been in TK, so preschool planning obviously looks a little bit different. But prior to preschool, I was in 2nd grade for 5 years. And we did team lesson planning, but it was a little more, I don't know if loose is the right word, but we would just get to it when we could during the week. Sometimes it was, Amy, it's your week to do lesson plans. Next week it's JC's or something like that. So coming back onto the 2nd grade team has been really nice because it's more of a requirement, but in a positive manner. And I'll kind of go into that in a more detailed way. But so in June, we met as a team to come up with a lesson plan template. And we kind of looked at what our team members had used in the past. And we created a template that we all felt was user-friendly and that we enjoyed. And then from there, we used our scope and sequence that we put together with Eliza and Denise for ELA and math. And we started plugging in our lesson plans for the year. And we got pretty far, several weeks or months planned out. And then from there, in the beginning of the year, we chose meeting dates. So for example, second grade meets Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And we were able to meet faithfully so far. And these team planning days are, since we went into the school year with a good plan and scope and sequence laid out, these days are to catch up, reflect on what we got done the week before. We talk about what lessons we've done so far and what we're gonna do the following week. And as far as participation goes, we are communicating throughout the whole meeting. Sometimes we go subject by subject. Sometimes we divide and conquer to plan out the next week. And what I've really enjoyed about this is I feel completely prepared and confident going into the following week. I never wake up on a Monday morning feeling like, what am I doing? And speaking for myself, I'm a planner, so that's a good feeling. And I think because we've set aside 2 days a week to plan, our other time during prep, before, after school, we're able to set aside that for preparing our materials, making copies or whatever else. And another thing is we're always on the same page and we're able to communicate. There's a sense of unity. If you're walking through our rooms, you're gonna see the same activities going on. The kids are exposed to the same content. So it's been really nice.
And I'm here today to talk, I'm Tamar Lumsden, and I'm here to talk about the mastery of standards. This has been a work in progress for over 3 years now at Scootney. We started with kind of a layer number 1, which was we knew that our students weren't getting it the first time we were teaching it. So we've spent the last 3 years building a really comprehensive system on how to understand exactly what kids didn't get, carving out times to be able to reteach those concepts they didn't get, and really understanding what the kids are telling us through their data. Because kids aren't gonna walk up to you and say, I'm not getting summary, and the part I'm not getting is this. They don't know what part they're not getting. So as teachers, we've been working really hard to collaborate, look at the data, and come up with viable solutions to help them when they don't understand. And this year I'm really excited because for the first time we're actually talking as grade levels. The 3-6 band and the K2 band are meeting weekly during PLCs, and they're really aggressively talking about how to teach it better the first time. And so 3 through 6 are focusing on the targets, which are how students are assessed on the SBAC assessment. And K2 has really taken a deep dive into phonics and making sure kids are getting all of their foundational skills in a comprehensive way by the end of their year in each grade level. Part of this second level is continuing our journey. This is driven by data. It's being responsive to students' needs. And a part of that is intentionally reteaching everything the students don't get, continually progress monitoring them, and building in continual review. So we have a system for understanding when they don't get it. We have systems now for teachers to collaborate on how to teach it better the first time, but then always having a spiraling review, because our brains are wired to get rid of things that we don't use. And so kids need to constantly have concepts put in front of them. So we have several grade teams that are also weaving that spiral review in. This process is super exciting to me as the coach because it is like a continuous cycle of professional development on exactly what the kids need next. And it makes us better as teachers. And this year, on our first interim, every team showed improvement in areas that were reteaches in previous years. So we were able to see in the data that we did do it better the first time because of that previous collaboration that we had. And the other exciting part about this is being able to support teachers weekly on all of our agreed upon pieces. They're doing a lot of new stuff and they need a lot of support in rolling this out in front of their kids. And we have the systems in place that help us support the teams in what they need support in.
My name's Jeff Lockhart. I teach third grade at Scootney Springs, and I'm here to talk about the progression that is happening within 3 through 6 in order for those kids in those upper grade levels to meet or exceed those state standards. And so the first thing we started looking at was moving from standards into target teaching. And so one of the main reasons we decided to do that, I wish I could make them bigger, but you can see within that target 2, instead of teaching each individual standard one at a time, we can see how through targets, and there's more than just this, but how each of those standards kind of weave through each of those targets, which gives us a chance to meet or hit those Common Core standards multiple times throughout the school year, rather than trying to meet them one at a time. The other thing that we looked at was how do we align this? And so one of the things we started looking at was this idea of chants and gestures. Within those targets and within those Common Core standards, we have concepts or ideas we want kids to learn. One of them that we're teaching currently is vocabulary and main idea in third grade. And so what we've decided to do is try to teach kids. We know that kids learn better when they have motion, movement, music, things like that. And so one of the ones my kids love is vocabulary, and it's just simple. It's a vocabulary, and then they say the meaning of the word right here. And so what we're trying to do then is just teach kids an attack strategy for how to work through those Common Core pieces. Within the chants and gestures, we are teaching mini lessons around how to give kids instructional pieces around trying to attain those. And then you'll see down on the bottom side, I just put in 2 different graphic organizers where kids are working. And so one of them is that vocabulary piece. And you can see that we've been teaching kids this graphic organizer called SEI. The S stands for subject, the E stands for evidence, the I stands for inference. And so they're looking in those questions going, what is this question asking me to do? And so the subject would be that vocabulary word. The inference would be answer A, answer B, answer C, answer D, and just what it is that that word could possibly mean if I were to choose that as my answer. And then what kids are doing is looking inside those questions, inside the paragraphs or inside the text, then to find evidence that would best support why it is that they're making that inference or choosing those answers around that vocabulary word. And they're doing that for more than just vocabulary. There's a bunch of chants and a bunch of gestures and stuff that go into that. The last component we've been working on with the school district is making common assessments. And what that allows us to do is the perspective from 3rd through 6th is that allows us not only to look from Scootney at how we're doing, but it allows us to have conversations with other 3rd grade teachers at what's working well and what may be needed to change or in order to meet those kids, or from 4th grade or 5th grade or so on up in order to meet the best needs for our kids.
So Brendan wasn't able to come tonight, and he was going to talk a little bit about the work that he's been doing with mastery of standards, but different than the standards we've talked about so far tonight. So we have a large population of students that are learning English as a second language, and he has been working with several other teachers in our school to kind of build a different way to engage them in authentic practice where they can access language, learn language, but it's also in the format of the test that they're going to be assessed on, which looks very different than the other assessments that we give. And so as part of the work that he's been doing is identifying students and at what level they're currently at in their language, and then changing the way that they teach their core science. And so in 4th grade, his entire team is working together to build in a lot of speaking opportunities in class. And they've taken their science curriculum and they meet weekly, and they lesson plan together, and they build in these content-based conversation pieces that mirror the same format as the language assessment the kids are going to do. And I've gone into the classrooms when they're doing this, and the kids are just talking up a storm, and they're partnering with other students in the class, and they're super excited about science, and they're using all this academic vocabulary that's really high level, words I would never have learned until I was in high school, and they're just using it like it's no big deal, and they're super engaged. And so he's been doing a ton of work. He's been working a lot with Nancy, who you will hear from next, and these are some of the examples of like things they've taken from their curriculum. They've also switched into Washington history because they switched from science to history. So you're going to see some science examples up there. You're going to see some history examples up there. But they're getting kids to talk and use the content and learn their content better, but also learning language at the same time.
My name's Nancy Jimenez, and I'm the multilingual teacher at Scootney. This is my first year in Othello. Previously, I was in the Kennewick School District, and I taught third grade for 5 years as a dual language teacher. Parts that I'm focusing on for multilingual students is my newcomer program. I work with students who are new to Washington, who are new to school. There are some students this is their first year academically, and I want to ensure that they have functional language and that they are building social and academic language socially, so that when they're in recess, they can ask for help, talking to their friends, and being academically so that they're able to participate in the classroom, be able to talk to their teacher, and just helping them build that confidence with their language. The other part of my time, I'm meeting with grade teams so that I can be a voice and be an advocate for MO students. Since it's my first year, I'm building relationships with teachers. I want to know their curriculum. I want to be more knowledgeable in what they're doing and what they're teaching. And with the rest of my day, I work with interventions with some students, and with the higher grades, they're working on novels, and many times those books are out of their reach. They're not where they need to be. They're at grade level, and some students are reading below grade level. However, in my classroom, when I'm working with the students, I summarize the books. I add a lot of visuals so that they can still access the curriculum in their classroom. Some of the work that I've done was with the novels with 5th grade, and I'm currently with 6th grade working on Percy Jackson. And I try to front load the information with students when I meet with them, so that when they go into the classroom, they're able to participate, they're able to understand, and they're able to have conversations with their peers so that they feel involved and they feel acknowledged. The other time, I'm also helping them use transition words, use visuals that are at grade level content, because it's important that they have those skills so that they can build upon them. And at the end, at Scootney, there's 268 multilingual students, which is half of the student population. So it's important that they have a voice and that there's someone advocating for them. And I myself English is my second language, but I feel like students are able to reach that potential if they have the support. And I feel really blessed to be here so that I can help those students reach their full potential.
So the next area is safety and belonging. And I wasn't quite sure where to put Nancy, either in safety and belonging or in mastery of standards, because she kind of fits both areas. For these students who are new to our country, her newcomer program really helps with that belonging part. It really gives them access to the language that they need so that they can communicate with their teacher and with other students. But then she's also helping in the academics so that they are able to access the academics that their peers are also accessing. So she kind of fits in both. But in this standard, we want to increase the amount of time our students spend in their learning environment. So there's kind of two-prong that we're attacking this. One is that we're giving professional development for our teachers for best practices in inclusive classrooms and connecting with students. And the second is really monitoring our SEL program. And we really are trying to give voice and look for ways to get students involved in promoting that sense of belonging.
All right, my name is Jennifer Gomez, and I'm going to be talking about CHAMPS. I had the privilege of attending the Safe and Civil School Conference in Portland last summer. And quickly after that, the Scootney team that went to Portland got together and we talked about what this would look like for Scootney. And we decided that the first step was to establish school-wide expectations in common areas. So what that means is basically having expectations for hallways, as you can see on the board. CHAMP stands for C is conversation. So like a voice level 0 would be silent, no talking. 1 would be a whisper. A 2 would be an indoor voice, and a 4 would be an outdoor presenter voice. The H stands for help. So what should students do when they need help? Do they raise their hand? Do they ask the nearest adult for help? Activity is A, so whatever the activity is, whether it's in the classroom or they're walking in the hallway. M stands for movement. So for example, in the hallway, they should be walking on the right side of the hallway, second tile, and stopping at corners safely. P is participation. So basically what that looks like for us adults, as they're walking the hallway, they should have their hands to themselves, respect others and the property. And S always stands for success. After we established the school-wide expectations, we decided that we should have studio classrooms. So teachers were able to come into my classroom or Jessica O'Brien's classroom and kind of see CHAMPS in action. So as you can see on the bottom, I use slides in my classroom every single day for every lesson, every activity, and it has expectations for students on the board. Towards the end of the year, last year, we created a CHAMPS team. So I believe 5 or 6 teachers at Scootney also got the training for CHAMPS. And we got together again and we revisited this school-wide expectations and talked about, okay, what's next? We see it all around the school, but now we need to see it in action in the classrooms. So for our Scootney orientation this school year, we allowed or gave time to grade levels to plan together and talk about the expectations that they were gonna have, for example, when they're going to walk to math or when they're walking out to recess. So we gave them a chance to personalize it to something that would make sense to them. And the last staff meeting that we had together, we actually did gallery walks and we were able to see different slides or posters that different grade levels have and just kind of see the way different grade levels have CHAMPS and the way they're working it out in their classrooms. And I think it's safe to say that every grade level is using CHAMPS to a certain capacity, whether it's for every activity or for students when they're walking into the classroom. They might have slides up on the board that tells them what they're working on, what they should be expected to do. And I'm just excited to see what else we do with CHAMPS. It's honestly something that I use every day. The slides that you're seeing on the board, Kendall Taylor and I work very closely with math and science, and we use the exact same slides for everything. So that just kind of falls into the alignment that we want to have at Scootney as well.
My name is Jill Powell, and I'm the school counselor at Scootney. I not only provide individual and small group counseling services, but I also provide pro-social activities in partnership and collaboration with our teachers at Scootney. And I'm there to make sure that kids feel like they belong. And so this year, I talked a couple weeks ago about the Amazing Shake program, and you guys already know a lot about it, but I wanted you to know the many reasons why we're investing time and effort into this program. So with that being said, I wanted to invite several students up to talk on not just on behalf of the Amazing Shake, but something else that we're really proud of with our 6th grade leadership club. So come on up, guys. I have to say, yeah, we practiced in front of a podium. So we're gonna use this podium today. Come on up. I have 31 kids in 6th grade leadership. And when I asked the kids, does anybody want to present to the school board? All of these young ladies eagerly raised their hands. So I'm really proud of them. But first I wanted to hand it over to Hannah Jorgensen. She's gonna talk about her personal experience with the Amazing Shake.
Hello everyone, I'm Hannah Jorgensen. Tonight I wanted to share a little bit about what the Amazing Shake has done for me.
What the Amazing Shake has done for me is it has given me confidence in the following areas: public speaking, speaking under pressure, and making eye contact while giving a firm handshake. Along with confidence, it has also given me a lot of courage to face a lot of difficult challenges. On top of all that, I can say I have learned and grown so much as a person. Some of the stations I learned the most from were teaching people the rules to a game, which taught me patience and understanding, reciting a poem, which helped to memorizing and speaking publicly, and lastly, showing compassion when someone has been unkind. All that to say, this program has made me a more well-rounded person, and I can't wait to do it again. Thank you.
Next slide, thank you. Okay, so having sixth graders at the elementary building can pose some controversy, but I am here to say that at Scootney, we take pride in having sixth graders in our building. This year, like I said, am I on? Okay. We had 31 kids apply, and all 31 kids are just doing a lot of amazing things in our building. And they're building community in our school, so they're here to talk about that today.
I might be a bit too short. Hi, my name is Ailey, and today I will be representing peer educators. What we do is we teach younger grade levels what it is to be kind, grateful, and what it means to be unique. We have also been doing mini lessons with them about gratefulness and what it is to be unique. And we've been doing a lot of arts and crafts with them. So this week we are going to kindergarten, and we're going to be making a hand turkey with them, and they're going to write something what they're grateful for on the hand turkey. And that's what we do in Peer Educators. In Reading Buddies, I'm Sophia, and in the group Reading Buddies, this team helps TK and kindergarten, and they read books to them. Their goals this year are to be patient, kind, and caring to their buddies. Another one is helping them read and enjoy reading, and discussing their book with their partner to see what they learned or what they liked. Offer praise and encouragement to their buddies. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brooklyn, and this is what the bulletin board developers do. They pin our ideas on what's going on. Like, for example, we're doing a Thanksgiving bulletin board, and it's almost Thanksgiving. We do these bulletin boards so our school doesn't look plain. It gives our school a pop of color, and we change them regularly to keep things fresh, and that's what the bulletin developers do.
Hi, I'm Alexa, and today I will be presenting about the Assembly Committee. What the Assembly Committee does is we basically come up with fun themes and games to make our assemblies feel more welcoming and exciting. So we love helping to clean up and set up. We love helping the lower grade levels and their special events, such as the first graders' friendship feast. We will be all over that to clean up and set up chairs. And the first grade luau that is also coming up really soon. We will be all over that to make it a successful and a very pleasing event for the teachers and the students. Thank you.
I'm Audrey Raylands, and I'm going to be talking to you about a group in leadership called the Star Buddies. What the Star Buddies do is they write a birthday message to students who have a birthday that week, and then they hand deliver them. The messages usually have a candy of some sort and a birthday pencil. They also write a personal message to each student. This act of kindness helps make the students feel appreciated and helps strengthen our school, and that's what the Star Buddies do.
Some personal notes from kids in leadership are: we get to help people. I enjoy helping others and making them smile. We get to help make the school funner and better. I like that we get to hang out with each other and make the school a better place. Teaching is fun. I like that we are role models and the little kids look up to us. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. All right.
Ladies, thank you. That was amazing. So at this time, if there's any questions or comments, we're ready to take those.
It's always such a great time to come to Scootney, and I love having you guys here. And I just want to say a special thank you to all of the young ladies that showed up today. And your leadership skills and the way that you can speak in front of adults is something to be admired. Many, many adults can't do what you just did. So congratulations on being absolutely amazing. Which goes to, I mean, it speaks to this group of adults standing in front of us. You guys are the best of the best, and I don't want to say I love you. That feels weird, but also I love you guys. Because you, like I said in our meeting, you've been the village that have helped me raise my own children, and I appreciate all of your hard work and everything that went into tonight, but more importantly, everything that you're doing every day for our kids in putting in the work to make sure that, you know, they can read and that they feel like they belong and that they're getting the education that they all deserve. And I really appreciate it. And, you know, thank you for having us and for explaining all of the things. None of us are educators, and so sometimes it might feel annoying that you have to dumb it down for us, but I really appreciate it, and it really just goes to show all of the amazing things that everyone at your school is doing. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. I'm gonna jump on that when she says dumb it down, because I'm one that, you know, need to have it scaled down to my lingo, and I appreciate you guys all doing that. Thanks for the visit. I really enjoyed it. One thing I noticed is and these young ladies, when they got up presented, that's amazing. That takes a lot of courage to do that, and it only excels from here on out. So the younger you start, the better. So. But the whole vibe of the school, like the bulletin boards that they all just explained, that's something that caught my eye right away, and just the presentation of the hallways, the walk-in, and one thing that caught my eye was in the elementary classes, the kids were all up and they were sounding out and they're doing hand gestures, and I could tell every student was engaged in that, and that's something that. As a child, I don't remember doing that, and I probably wish I did. I'd probably speak a lot better than what I'm doing now, but it was great to see that, the interaction and stuff. So the test shows, I mean, we'll see it again here when we get the test, but I could see that we're trending in the right direction, and no kids getting left behind. So keep doing what you're doing.
Wonderful visit. And I could tell by the crowd here tonight that you have got a lot of support and backing in what you have been doing this year. It's just absolutely great to see. And the young ladies that spoke tonight, great speakers. They're going to go a long ways in speaking. And it's really nice to see that. Thank you.
Here, Yoni is mine.
No, you're good. Unfortunately, for me, I wasn't able to make it to the visit, which I pride myself on doing. Without ever going to your guys' school yet, to see those kids come up and do what they just did right now is amazing. That's testament to all you guys, all the hard work you guys put in. It is not easy. I can't imagine. Like Chris and everybody else, thank you for dumbing it down for us. I just want to say thank you to you guys for keep pushing the envelope, for keep trying to keep these kids from getting further behind and having them all catch up. There's a bright future in the kids that you've just seen today here, and I just want to say thank you to all you guys, that whole staff of yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And all of us here and those who are watching, we wanted to thank you for taking the time to come to Scootney and see the good work we're doing, because we absolutely believe in it. We know it's the right work, and it's the work that our kids need. So thank you. And anytime you want to come and walk through the classrooms, we would love to have you, because the work we're doing is the good work. So thank you.
I just wanted to share a couple comments before you all leave, because I think there's some uniqueness to the presentation. One is around strategic planning. It isn't that every kid has the same experience at every school in Othello, but it's that they have an excellent experience and a similar experience. And I think you heard that today, even some of the similarities they're developing in their own school. So that's exciting to see. Number two, I think the most powerful thing that I heard tonight from a teaching and learning perspective was they said when they retaught things last year, that the students did better this year. It carried forward, right? And the energy and confidence that gives to kids, but also to teachers. That's a pretty cool thing to share and to be able to celebrate. Because when adults work together, kids learn more. That's been well established. The last one is maybe more global. Everybody on this podium up here went to school in Othello. And I think about half of you went to school in Othello. And what I think is important to acknowledge about that is we all had some great people in our lives as educators. Absolutely. We could all point back to people we had as teachers here that made a significant difference for us. And there's this narrative sometimes in America that public schools are a mess, that they're not doing right by kids. And tonight you would look at our kids and what these people talked about and say that couldn't be further from the truth. We have so many people working so hard and so many kids learning at high levels that we should all be proud of that. So I hope you all take a moment to recognize that. And even if you didn't grow up in Othello, when people challenge the quality of public schools, we're required to push back on that because we do some really cool things for a lot of kids here. And so thank you for coming in and doing that work every day.
Thank you. Thank you again. Okay, at this time, do we have any public comment? Okay. Then we'll go to upcoming events. Of course, next week, WASDA conference starts Thursday in Spokane. So, hope you're ready. Then our next regular board meeting is November 25th. And remind everybody that the DOHS Thanksgiving Community Luncheon, 11:30 on November 27th. Anything else to add to the calendar?
Yeah, I'll add, I got one thing, Ken. I gave everybody a handout up here, but on Thanksgiving Day, with collaboration from Classic Grilling, the Rotary Club, Jose from the Food Bank, and Cowpath Bakery, the Nazarene Church is having a Thanksgiving dinner at 2 o'clock for anybody that's welcome. Not just needy family, but just anybody needs a place to go or need to get away from family, they're welcome to come. The Surgeon General just come out and said loneliness is one of the biggest epidemics fighting our society right now. So if there's anybody who needs a place to go on Thanksgiving, we're at the Nazarene Church, and all the churches or all the schools be getting information. You can find us on Facebook, and I got flyers up here if anybody needs it. So that's it.
Thank you. We'll go on to the board self-assessment of the meeting. Wonderful presentation tonight by Scooby. Wonderful participation from everybody.
Yeah. It's always the best part of a meeting when we have students here, and to have such an amazing display of leadership and involvement and all of the things that those girls represented was really, really great. Definite highlight. Very well planned agenda.
And not a full board would be the downfall of tonight.
Aaron would have liked to see those girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the other deltas for this particular meeting, we had a couple of conflicts across the district with a concert and National Honor Society tonight, so not able to be a presence there, and also the conflict with this meeting. So a better job of calendaring, so I'm gonna add that.
Anything else to add to that? Okay, now we'll go on to executive session. The board will recess into executive session for 60 minutes to discuss the sale or lease of land and the performance of a public employee. No action will be taken following the executive session. We'll meet back in Pete's office in about 3 minutes.